Chapter 35, The Heart of Magic. The forest was silent, save for the occasional rustle of leaves in the breeze. But to Decima, the stillness felt suffocating, heavy with the magic that surrounded them. Every breath she took seemed to carry the weight of the curse, the twisted history of the forest, and the power of the bond she shared with Daniel. Standing at the edge of the clearing, she felt the pulse of the ancient trees, their magic as old as the earth itself. The air shimmered with energy, as though the very fabric of reality was thinner here, stretched by centuries of twisted power. Daniel's hand tightened around hers, pulling her attention back to him. His face was calm, but she could feel his own tension through their bond. Whatever lay ahead, they were in this together. "I'm ready," Daniel said, his voice low and steady. "Are you?" Decima nodded, though her heart raced. She wasn't entirely sure what they were about to do, but one thing was clear. This was their chance to break the curse. The twisted trees that stood before them were not just a symbol of the men, who had been cursed centuries ago. They were a manifestation of the magic that had been unleashed by their actions. To undo it, they had to confront that magic head-on. "I'm ready," she said, her voice carrying the weight of everything she had learned, everything she had come to understand about the curse and the power within her. With a deep breath, Decima stepped forward, pulling Daniel along with her. The air grew colder as they approached the cursed trees, the shadows stretching unnaturally around them. The faces of the men, twisted in pain and rage, stared back at them from the bark of the trees, their eyes wide with unspoken anguish. The clearing felt like a crossroads between worlds, the past, the present, and the unknown future, all converging in this one space. The trees were alive with magic, ancient and powerful, and Decima could feel it pulsing through the ground beneath her feet. She glanced at Daniel, whose gaze was fixed on the trees, his expression determined. "We need to break the bond," she said quietly, more to herself than to him. "We need to sever the magic that keeps this curse alive." Daniel nodded. "We can do it, together." Decima closed her eyes for a moment, gathering her focus. The bond between her and Daniel, the shared magic that flowed between them, was the key. But she didn't know how to channel it, how to use it to break the curse. The only thing she could do was trust in their connection, in the magic that had brought them together. She reached out, her fingers brushing against the twisted bark of one of the trees. A jolt of energy shot through her and she gasped, her vision flickering, with flashes of memories that weren't her own. Images of the two men who had stolen the potion, of their greed and their rage. The curse had bound them to the forest, transforming them into these twisted forms, and the magic that had been unleashed was still feeding off their pain. But there was something more, something deeper in the forest's magic, a hidden layer that Decima could sense but not fully understand. "Do you feel that?" she asked Daniel, her voice barely a whisper. He nodded, his eyes focused on the trees. "There's something else here. It's not just the curse. It's something older." Decima's pulse quickened. She could feel it too, the pull of an ancient force, something that had been slumbering for centuries, waiting for the right moment to awaken. She didn't know what it was, but she knew they were standing at the threshold of something powerful. Taking a deep breath, Decima stepped closer to the tree, her hand now resting fully against the rough bark. The magic surged through her, a wave of energy that threatened to overwhelm her. She fought to stay grounded, focusing on the bond between her and Daniel, on the connection they shared. "We can break this," she said, her voice firm. "We can set them free." Daniel's grip on her hand tightened, and she felt his magic flowing through her, amplifying her own. The combined power of their bond created a spark of light, a flicker of energy that seemed to grow brighter the more they focused on it. It was the key. The magic of their bond was stronger than anything the curse could hold. With a final, powerful push, Decima called on that magic, willing it to tear through the curse, to sever the bond that had kept the men trapped in their twisted forms. The energy swelled, rippling through the air like a wave crashing against the shore, and then, with a sound like the crack of thunder, the curse shattered. The twisted trees groaned, their branches shaking as if in pain, and the faces of the cursed men disappeared, their forms dissolving into the air. The magic that had bound them was gone, dissipating like mist in the wind. For a long moment there was silence. The forest held its breath, as though waiting for something else to happen. Decima felt a rush of relief, but it was tempered with exhaustion. The weight of the magic, of the power they had just unleashed, left her trembling. She felt as though the very ground beneath her feet had shifted, as though something had changed in the world around them. But the curse was gone. The forest, though still alive with its ancient magic, felt lighter, freer. The men were no longer trapped in their torment. Decima turned to Daniel, her heart swelling with gratitude and love. "We did it." He smiled, though there was a flicker of something deeper in his eyes. "We did, but this isn't over. The forest is still full of secrets." She nodded, knowing he was right. The curse was broken, but there was still so much more to uncover. About the dragons, about the bond between her and Daniel, and about the ancient magic that had been unleashed. For now, though, they had won a victory, and that was enough.